Do you believe that we are perhaps ready for a reversal of a lot of the measures that were taken both by the government as well as the Reserve Bank, to bring down the current account deficit, gold import restrictions, for instance, or to prop up the rupee? Do you believe that the economy today is in a better shape, and perhaps both the Reserve Bank and the government could look at a reversal of some of those measures that were brought in?
In a way, some of the measures have been so the FCNRB was a window. You got in the capital flows, you said you're comfortable, you've closed that window. So in a way, I think some of those steps have been taken, which are again an indicator to say that we are feeling more comfortable and better than what we were 6 months ago. But at the same time, I must say that the times are very volatile, and it's very difficult to gauge the extent to which financial markets can get impacted through some of these changes. So instead of jumping and saying that we are home with everything, I think coming back to what I say is we should first build strength in the domestic economy. As we build that strength, actually we will get more and more ability to withdraw some of these measures.
Linked to what we could perhaps see happen as far as the landscape is concerned, specifically for banking, and we know that the Jalan Committee met recently and they are in the process of finalizing the issue of bank licenses. How are you gearing up now to take on potential competition, for instance?
Yes, so when you look at banking industry, in India, I've always believed that a banking industry in India can grow 2.5 times the GDP of the Indian economy. So in that sense, I would say that for many years to come, there is a lot of business to be done in the banking industry, and this business can be done by existing banks becoming bigger, by new players coming in, or by a combination of both. So I think in terms of ability to grow and ability to find new markets, new businesses, new products, I think there's enough for everybody to do. Having said that, I must also say that it's not a very easy business to be in. You need to build your franchise, you need to build your scale, you need to build your products, you need to build your core competencies before you can get to a sustainable, profitable growth model for the banking sector. So it's not a cakewalk for every player to come in and start building scale and sustainable, profitable models. The banking industry in India has lived with competition all the time. So while we would get through these intermittent competitive practices, I think in the long term, banks with franchise, banks with core competencies are always going to find enough opportunities for growth.
We were talking earlier on about how SMEs have changed their business models, enhanced efficiency, and so on and so forth. Is there any sector in specific where you're excited about personally, or you're seeing a lot of activity within the SME space today?
So there are actually various sectors. In fact, if you look at food processing, some of the units are doing pretty well. When you look at the pharma industry, actually the experience has been mixed. Some are actually doing very well. Some which are reliant on certain other markets or certain products have found it difficult to grow. Some on the services industry, especially related to IT, ITES, are actually doing pretty well. So there are, in today's scenario, it's really not just sectors, but within sectors, it's only the strong players who tend to be doing well, and within those sectors, some of the weak players are probably not doing as okay.
But let's talk about how SMEs who are looking at scale, who are looking at new market opportunities, whether it's within India or outside India, what would your advice in that sense be to strategize in terms of the right kind of talent, on bringing the right team together? And they don't have the kind of cash to throw around in terms of salaries. What would the advice be to SMEs who are looking at scale?
So as far as talent is concerned, my advice to SMEs is that while, they don't pay that kind of salaries that maybe some of the larger corporates would pay, but then again, all the talent in India is not just looking at salaries. I think, the opportunity to actually participate in a new initiative, ab initio, and create that initiative excites a lot of people. And so if you attract talent, and give them the opportunity to work on an idea right from the beginning and see it fructify into a scalable business environment, I think that becomes a big attraction to people. And then the returns or the rewards to the employees could be related to the success of the business. It need not necessarily just be fixed salaries. So I think that kind of a model excites or attracts a lot of talent. It's also equally important to create a professional work environment. So ability to, or kind of the comfort to these professionals to say that the decision making in the team would be kind of done on a professional basis, and we will all be working as professionals to create an idea from inception to the end. I think that becomes equally important if you have to attract talent.
We've always talked about policies for big business, but let's talk about what the next government can perhaps do to really kickstart growth as far as the SME sector is concerned. Specific initiatives that you would like to see the government think about or execute or implement to nurture the SME sector.
I think the emerging India really needs a enabling ecosystem, so so that there are less interruptions in their operation. I think they have a lot of capability to run their businesses, but what you need to do is to avoid interruptions. That is really going to be the most important contribution from the side of the government.
So before I let you go, Chanda, your message to SMEs who are perhaps going to be part of the Emerging India initiative. This is of course a process where we invite all SMEs to nominate themselves, but what would your message be to them?
Well, first of all, I would say that this is one of the greatest platforms for recognition for the SMEs. So I'd encourage more and more of them to apply and try and get recognized. But over and above that, I would say that this is the time when we need to look at both ourselves internally as well as externally. Internally, to keep reorienting our business models. Externally, to keep finding newer markets. And once we do that in a difficult environment like this, I think as the growth comes back, actually the SMEs would have the ability to grow at the back of a much improved business model, and that is what then they should look forward to. So focus today on creating sustainable, profitable growth models and capitalize on them as the growth comes back.
Well, Chanda, thank you very much for speaking to us, and we hope we do have the best SMEs join us here on the Emerging India Initiative for 2014. Appreciate your time. We will, of course, stay in touch with you as this initiative rolls forward. On that note, it is time for us to say goodbye to you, but stay with us on the Emerging India platform on CNBC TV 18. We will keep you updated on what we intend to do as far as the awards and the jury presentation is concerned. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye. Many thanks for watching.